Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2020 Corvette C8, and I am finally able to get my hands on one of these for you guys to review. I am so excited. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I want to thank Brown Daub Chevy for allowing me to review this vehicle. For all your Chevy needs, you can visit Brown Daub right off of Nazareth Pike in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, or at their website, browndaubchevy.com. Starting out up front here on the new C8, as you can see, this is brand new. The dealership just got this in. It's got the window sticker. It still has the plastic wrap on the seats, so we'll kind of work around that for the review. But I jumped at the opportunity to be able to review one of these because they are so hard to find. So, without further ado, starting up front here, since this is a mid-engine car, it actually has a frunk, but there's no visible points to open it. Well, there's actually a sensor down here, and if you have the key in your pocket, you tap that and it will pop open automatically. Moving inside the frunk here, it's gonna have 5.4 cubic feet of storage, so not a ton, but it is nice that they added that. And then closing it, all you have to do is bring it down and then you push on the sides there. You'll have your Corvette badge right here, and then these absolutely beautiful LED headlights. Amazing. I mean, the entire design of this new Corvette is fantastic. I absolutely love it. That seems to be unanimous across the board. Everyone loves how this thing looks. It is so sleek, so gorgeous. Chevy knocked it out of the park with the design of this car. Moving to the profile of the C8, starting with the wheels, you'll have 245/35 ZR Michelin tires wrapped around these 19-inch wheels. As you can see, these wheels are so new, they're actually missing their center caps. I really like the contrasting lime green brake calipers with this exterior color. I think it's fantastic, this kind of dark color opposed to this lime green. I think that looks really good. And then moving up to the mirror cap here, it is body colored, and then it does have this really cool turn signal indicator implemented into it. Moving further down the body, I absolutely love the lines on this thing. You have this big air intake right here that kind of blends into the door. Really good design. And then moving to the door, there's actually a sensor, so all you have to have is the key in your pocket, and then it will sense that and open the door automatically. That's really nice. And then it will close there. Moving further down, this isn't something I normally talk about because I don't review a lot of sports cars or supercars, but this actually has 20-inch wheels in the back. Yes, it's different from the front, a little bit larger wheels in the back. So this actually has 305/30 ZR Michelin tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels, and they actually say Corvette on them. So that's a little fun fact for you. Moving underneath the hood here, unfortunately there's not much to see because this is the convertible version, so we just have the convertible top halfway up, and there isn't really great access to the engine here, but it is powered by a 6.2-liter V8, making stock 490 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, but if you have the Z51 performance package, that boosts those numbers each by 5. So you'll get 495 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. This also has a 0 to 60 time of 2.9 seconds, and that engine is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Moving fully to the back here, it is absolutely gorgeous, just like it is up front. Starting all the way at the top and then moving down, at the top of the roof, you'll actually have a camera mounted up there. A little bit more about that when we move into the interior. Moving below that, you'll have your Stingray badge right here, then your third brake light, your Corvette badge, your backup camera right here. You'll have parking sensors and then quad exhaust. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give you guys an exhaust note on this. The last thing I wanted to touch upon in the rear here is its storage. Not too much better than the front. This only has 7.2 cubic feet of storage capacity back here, bringing its combined storage capacity to only 12.6 cubic feet. Not great, but then again, you're probably not buying the new C8 for its cargo capacity. Another fun feature I found is when closing this rear cargo hatch, it actually auto closes. So what you do is you soft close it down and then see it automatically closes itself. That's pretty neat. Before we fully move into the interior, I just wanted to touch on the key fob for a second. So you'll have lock, unlock. You're able to remote start the Corvette from here. You're also able to pop the front trunk, the rear trunk, and the convertible top from here as well. And then you have your panic button. It also has a nice Corvette logo on there. Moving to the interior of the C8, even though this is a base model, it is incredibly well equipped, so there's quite a lot to get to. So let's start with the door panels. You'll have your mirror controls right here, your window switches, which are power 1 touch down and power 1 touch up. And then you also do have your switch for your rear window, which does also go down. That's really nice. That obviously also comes down when you put the convertible top down. So the convertible top button is right there. Let's show you how that works. Moving to the materials, I mean, the texture is incredibly nice on here. I mean, just really nice attention to detail, very premium feeling. I think if I had to describe this entire interior, I'd say it was incredibly premium feeling. A little bit higher to the door controls, you do have a Bose sound system, which is really nice in here. And then below you have your lock and unlock buttons, and then you have your button to exit the car because there's actually no door handle on here. It is a button, so you just tap that and that will open the door automatically. Now, if for some reason this button does not work, there is a manual latch here to open the door as well. Now, down here, you'll have your electronic parking brake button and your brightness button for the lights, so the interior light brightness. And then above that, you have a little storage cubby, and then these really nice, high quality climate vents, so premium feeling. Moving up into the gauge cluster, you have an entirely digital gauge cluster. And then out to the steering wheel, you have your stalks for your windshield wipers and your turn signals. And then you have these really, really nice paddle shifters. And then pretty much everything in the gauge cluster is controlled from this steering wheel. So let's turn the car on here. You can hear that thing rumble. It is so nice, so nice. And then you'll get your really nice Corvette badge on here. Moving into the screen, you have a couple different modes that you can do on here. So one of them is the Z mode, which is on the steering wheel right here. So you tap that, that's kind of driver centric, that kind of adapts to your driving style. And then if you want to adjust your other modes, you can go down to this handle right here and spin this, and this is actually going to put you into different modes. So let's say you want to go to the track mode, that's actually going to change how the gauge cluster is laid out for track performance. And then if we wanted to go over to touring mode, that's going to change how the gauge cluster looks for the touring mode. Really nice attention to detail on that as well. On the steering wheel, you can control pretty much everything from here. This controls the preset stations and stuff, but it is in transport mode. You'll also have your Bluetooth buttons right here, your volume controls down here, and your channel changing right there. And then you have your cruise control buttons on this side. Moving over to the screen on here, it is very responsive, very quick. I really like how quick it is. It has built-in Wi-Fi, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, and this is also optionable with a navigation system. Though if you have the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it's kind of redundant. Very responsive. I really like Chevy's infotainment system. I've done a few Chevys recently, and I really like how they've done this. I think it's very quick, very snappy. And I just want to touch upon how I love how driver-centric this interior is. Everything's kind of turned towards the driver. This kind of swoops towards the driver. It really makes it feel like a cockpit in here and really adds to the effect of this new C8. I really, really love it. It's just so nice. And then moving below the screen, you'll have your drive mode selector. So you push for park, you pull for reverse. So pulling in for reverse, you'll have your backup camera right there. And then you can tap for neutral and then pull for drive. And then that's the automatic mode. And then there is a manual mode you can select too if you want to use the paddle shifters. And then you just tap again if you want to go back into park, and it's going to put you in park. You'll have a huge traction control button right there. And then this drive mode selector is wrapped in this really nice leather material. I really like it. I think that's really where you're supposed to rest your arm, you know, because my biggest worry initially when I saw this unveiled was the buttons right here, I'm like, oh, well, if you're going to rest your arm here, you're going to accidentally, hit your climate control buttons. But I think that obviously Chevy has designers for that. I don't design cars all the time, so they had that in mind. And you really kind of are supposed to put your hand here if you're going to rest your arm. I think that that's a much better placement, and that this is very comfortable for this to be. Moving up here to the aforementioned button row, I really like the look of this. I just thought that that would be inconvenient because I didn't know that you were going to rest your arm here. I love how this looks. So this is all your climate controls, but implemented into this really cool bar. So you can basically control everything. It's dual zone. So you'll have your climate controls up here, and it's going to give you a digital readout for that. And then, oh, I'm going to turn this on before this gets too high and drowns out my voice. This whole bar can be filled with optional heated seats and cooled seats, but since this is a lower trimmed model, it does not include those, though very well equipped nonetheless, as you can see. As I pressed before, this is your cup holders right here, and then moving below that, there is a cubby with storage, and then you have a USB-C, USB, and an auxiliary port, as well as a slot for your navigation for an SD card. Closing that, moving up here, there is an optional wireless charger right here, so you can just throw your phone in there, and then that does wirelessly charge. And then you do have a Corvette Stingray Bose speaker up here. There is an optional one that has the Corvette logo embossed into it, which I think is really cool, but I believe that's only on the really high trims. Moving up here to the mirror, I mentioned the camera before on the rear. So this is a standard mirror, but then if you tap this, it switches to your camera mode, which is really nice. And then you can actually adjust different things like your brightness on here, and which, if you want to zoom in, and which direction, kind of which angle you want this to come from. So that is very nice as well. A lot of different features and stuff. Really like how a lot of vehicles have started to implement this, because if there's anything obstructing your view to the back, all you have to do is swap that in, and then that will basically swap out for the mirror. I think that's a really nice, really good safety feature. I really hope to see that on a lot more vehicles going forward. A little bit higher than that, there is your Onstar buttons, and then you also have your hazards up here. That's kind of an interesting placement for the hazards, but nice nonetheless. Overall, this interior is incredibly well equipped for only being a lower trimmed model. I really, really love what Chevy's done with this, and it's been a great opportunity to be able to review one of these things. I'm very, very impressed overall, and I can't speak highly enough of this. I think they knocked it out of the park with this car. I mean, it feels like a $200,000 car. I mean, I've done Ferraris, I've done a McLaren, that's coming up. That has the same build quality as this. So I really, really am on Chevy's side and rooting for Chevy that this sells really well, which I'm sure it will, because it's absolutely gorgeous, because it's really an incredibly affordable supercar, essentially, is what it is. So yeah, it's great. And I also love that it has the convertible top. I mean, there's a lot of cars that are way more expensive than this that do not have a convertible option, but this includes it. So I think that's really cool. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Unfortunately, I am not able to drive this C8 due to a couple of different reasons. One of them is it's snowing outside, so that would be an incredibly bad idea, but I'm still thankful I was even able to do this walk around for you guys, since these C8s are so hard to get. If you could like the video and subscribe, that would really help my channel a lot. And I am a Christian, so if you have any prayer requests, you can leave those in the comment section below, and I will be praying for you. Lastly, I like to do a weekly Bible verse. This week's Bible verse is Isaiah 44:6. This is what the Lord says, Israel's King and Redeemer. The Lord Almighty, I am the first and the last. Apart from me, there is no other God. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you next time.